What up, everybody? This is Kyle, and you are back watching Knockouts and 3 Counts. And like we told you, we've got a great guest tonight. And before we get started and get to our special guest, Corey, throw your social media out real quick. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Only thing I use, as always, Fight Fan from the 313 on Twitter. Let's get to it.
And without any further ado, for the first time on the video, third time on the show, we've got the monster himself, the French-Canadian Frankenstein, PCO. How you doing, brother, man?
Great. What about you guys?
Hey, man, we just had quite the rainstorm. I don't know if you guys got it up there in Canada, but
a little bit, not too much, just a bit.
Yeah, man, it got like all stupid and great. Kind of looked like you were about to make your entrance here in Michigan and stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, before we get started, man, let everybody know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Pretty much everything at PCO is Not Human on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube as Pierre Ouellet, PCO.
Well, it's been a little minute since we've had you on. The last time we had you on the show was in February, and clearly things have changed quite a bit since the last time we had you on. So first of all, how the hell have you been holding up, and what the hell does a friggin' Frankenstein do in quarantine, man?
Man, I've never been so busy in my life. I've been like busier than ever. I've got all kinds of projects going on, and we're shooting a lot of episodes of Monday Night PCO and Destro PCO Justice, and that keeps me busy quite a lot with all the trainings and just, you know, staying ready for when we return to action. And there's so many things going on. Like I've trained my hands like I never trained my hands. I'm learning a lot. And
now, are you saying you're doing boxing when you say that? You said you're training your hands. Are you doing boxing?
No, just a strength, a grip for the strength. You know, we tend to forget that we're using our hands to do like everything. And there's like small tendons and ligaments that we don't think it can make a difference, but it's weird the way it works. So I've been having quite some success with the strength on my hands, and I don't know, it's fun. Like I can, you know, arm wrestle a little bit and things like that. So it's just I'm just learning other things, but it's just an addition to everything that it's always wrestling first, but everything's interconnected for, you know, just to be more ready than ever.
So I totally can relate with that, because on the jiu-jitsu end of things, with all the grip strength you get from grabbing the gi and trying to grab a hold of somebody, it's crazy, man. Like, you don't realize how much you use it until you're using something that you have to use your grip for. So I definitely can relate and definitely can see how in your line of work that would be essential. So let me ask you about that. That's another thing. You know, you've kept up with the Monday Night PCO and Destro videos, which we've shared out off of our Twitter, which you can find us at KO3C Pod. You know, every week, you know, he tags us in it, we retweet it out for you. So with you having more time on your hands, you know, at least with not being able to wrestle and things, how has that made it for you to create your content? I mean, that's the main way you've been able to keep yourself out there with Ring of Honor not being able to wrestle. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's a lot of planning, a lot of, just, you know, creation. Like it's crazy. It's very demanding, but it's also very rewarding. So it kind of, the payoff goes with all the work. So it's kind of cool. But it's a lot, you know, just shooting like every week. So we shoot every other week. We shoot for 2 weeks at a time. And just to cut everything and just to produce the whole, you know, episode of 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Gotta go to a lot of grinding and a lot of work back and forth. You know, I'm editing with another guy from the industry movie and for the movie industries. And it's very interesting. It's cool, very cool. I really enjoy it. I really like it.
I feel like you're seeing that a lot with a lot of fighters and wrestlers and stuff like that have their own following. You know, that's kind of their way of staying active right now with everything going on, is they're just focusing on their own content and, you know, producing the best stuff they can. And a lot of the stuff you're putting out seems to be, you know, honestly good quality. It makes me laugh when I watch it, you know.
Yeah, you know, trying to entertain, you know, as far as, you know, getting a good pop of laughing and some good gore style. Sometimes it's even funny, you know, like we take it seriously, but you know, when you watch that, it could be like, you know, it's so I'm tired of it, but it's so exaggerated that you can, you know, you can laugh about it, because sometimes it's like having like the double like sledgehammer into the head, and you know, it's just super, you know, way when you're facing PCO justice, the price that you're paying, you know, the fact that you're crooked, whatever, or you're doing something wrong, there's a high price to pay for that.
Like I said in that promo you had us cut, man, the Monster Mania, it's running through you, just like it says here on this shirt.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is, obviously you had your run at the end of last year with the Ring of Honor World Title. As we come out of, you know, the pandemic and Ring of Honor starts to make its return to TV, are we going to be seeing you focus more on a singles run, you know, trying to get your title back? Are we going to see you and Brody King tagged up? What's on the agenda for PCO as Ring of Honor returns to TV?
It's weird that you asked me that, like, because like when I saw Brody cut his promo that he was now single and he was sick of being in a Enterprise or whatever whatever the promo was, you probably saw it, right? Like the big promo that he cut just before he participated in the New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament not too long ago. He just cut that promo, and I've watched it like everyone else, and I've learned it there that okay, that's the thing now. So I guess, you know, it's going to be mostly a single run, I would say.
How do you feel about that? I mean, you've been with Villain Enterprises for the majority of the time we've seen you over in Ring of Honor. I mean, now you're back on your own. Clearly, you can do your thing, winning the world title. I mean, what are your thoughts on being a single again?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I've had a great time with Villain Enterprises. You know, I mean, I always got along with those guys, and they were like good friends of mine, and I was really comfortable being in that faction. But if I have to be single, you know, if this doesn't exist anymore, well, I think, you know, the Monster was always like doing his own thing, being part of that faction. Anyways, I was always like kind of different,
right?
So, and like you said, you know, I had like the run with the world title, and it's always, for me, it's always like the goal. It's just to have like the best house shows possible, and draw, you know, an awesome big gate, and a lot of people, and yeah, well, hopefully it's gonna happen organically, with the right opponent at the right time at the right place, and something huge will come out of that, all that you know, kind of tough time, and for everyone, for every business in general, like not just the wrestling business. It's been like pretty tough on a lot of people, and yeah, so I think when everybody will be like ready and feel like comfortable to go back to normal, I think it's gonna be a great economy. It's gonna be good for the business. I think we're gonna have.
I think so too, because
awesome crowd.
It creates a hungry crowd.
Yeah, exactly. People will be hungry for entertainment, for wrestling, for action, for new things to develop and things like that. So I think, yeah, it will be an awesome, good time for the wrestling business again.
Well, Corey had a good question leading into that. I kind of let him know a little bit about just how long you've been in the business, and those who, haven't checked out our past episodes, check them out up there in the right corner. I mean, this guy's been around WWF, WCW, Ring of Honor now. He's been everywhere. But Corey, you had a good question pertaining to that as we come into this pandemic era.
Well, I mean, as people that view the show regularly know, I'm a self-professed no longer wrestling watcher. I am a fan of the characters that go into it, but to watch the actual productions it's hard for me at this point. That being said, though, when I was growing up, it was the go-to thing. I mean, it was the biggest thing in the world. And kind of my question, I have twofold, but I'll let you answer the first one. What is it like seeing the wrestling world kind of go from the heights that it once was to kind of where it was, not necessarily now, because now it's on a huge upswing where you're seeing a lot of what was smaller promotions just a couple years ago kind of getting their foothold. I mean, of course, Corona kind of put a stomping in on a lot of that, but before then, I mean, you were seeing a ton of these, what were considered indie promotions getting TV deals and stuff like that, and really working their way into becoming serious contenders.
Yeah. So you're asking me what's the difference between before and now?
I think what he's trying to say with his question is, with you being wrestling in so many different generations, what challenges do you see as we're in a like right now we're in a pandemic era, so we got no fans. You've wrestled in front of crowds that are huge, and now are going to wrestle in front of no fans. What has been the challenge for you to continue to elevate your character through all the different generations?
Well, it's kind of like he said, and like you said, in the pandemic, it's totally it's another business. It doesn't even compare to what it was before. I think for everybody, and we see it with the ratings. Ratings are down.
Right.
People are stuck at home and they don't even watch the show because you need a crowd. So that's for now. I mean, as far as it will be TVs and fake boos and fake yay, or no crowd or whatever, it's really tough to know what's working, what's not working. You don't have the pulse of the crowd. You need to have the pulse, to know if you're doing something right or wrong. You can't just go with the ratings weren't good, so we must do something wrong. No, the ratings are bad because there's no crowd. So nobody can get excited or whatever because you're just watching an empty arena. So you can have the best wrestlers in the world, but if you don't have a crowd, and then it shows how important the crowd is to a wrestling show. It's more than 75% of the product if you look at it. It's we tend to think that the superstars are the one who are making this industry spins, but basically the fans are as much as important as the top stars in the business. They are the top stars altogether, so that's the thing that we have to recognize. As far as go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, off of what you just said, that brings up a question in of itself. Like with you guys starting your tapings and things, we keep seeing all the hashtags for the ROH bubble and all those things. So first of all, what are your thoughts on ROH's plan to come back to TV? And what do you think, like, the biggest challenge, like, for you, do you feel like it's going to be a big challenge to you being more character based, or do you feel like it's still going to project as well through TV?
It's, that's many aspects there. It depends the way that creative are going to handle this thing. I think I'll know like how I will handle it, but of course you can't play it the same thing. You can't do the same thing without a crowd than you do with a crowd. I mean, you have to just be different and just act differently because you're working mostly for the camera. Even though a lot of big companies were already doing that, they would acknowledge the crowd for tapings like WWE. They would, but not that much. They would acknowledge more the camera. But I think there just has to be a different angles and things like that. The whole production's got to change. I think it's just my personal take, though. But it was good. Like the way they switched it with like the TVs and things like that for WWE. But I think Ring of Honor were like, what's the first concern is health first. So that's why the bubble and things like that. So I don't think we will have a crowd eventually. I think maybe probably December or maybe January. I don't think before that. So it will be a huge challenge, like you said. But depending on how I work things out with creative, we'll see how we're going to handle this. So it's the unknown right now. It's totally the unknown.
I feel like we're already kind of starting to see it. There seems to be a lot of promotions kind of moving to the states that are starting to allow, even if it's only like a 10% or a 25%.
Like AEW just started the 10% capacity with Dynamite. Was it this week or last week or something like that?
Was it on the beach?
No, they're doing it at Daly's place.
Okay. Because I know, like I've been like other companies that contacted me for shows in front of crowds. So let's say they got a 2,500 seats arena. They're sitting maybe 500 or 750, and with people spread out. And but at least we'll have
you'll have somebody to know if it's getting over.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you're stretching something too long, or if you make it last too long, you start to lose the crowd, and you have to adapt. It's like
without a crowd, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, because the crowd's dictating a lot of the pace during that match. The crowd's dictating a lot of things. The way that you will handle your comeback, or the way that you will stretch out a spot or not, or it dictates a lot of things. And now, we have to pretty much less or more. We got to choreograph. It's like basically it's a dance more than anything else. So
yeah,
it's that's the challenge there.
Well, that brings a question I have for you. So obviously, like we were talking about your entrance at Madison Square Garden, you had one of the dopest entrances I've seen live. I remember I caught it on video and Marty put it in the story and all that good stuff. So with what we've seen during the pandemic with the cinematic matches, like we got a question in the comments from our friend Jimmy Mills. Jimmy asked what were your thoughts on the Boneyard match? And if you were ever asked to do something cinematic like that when Ring of Honor comes back, what kind of flair do you think that you could bring to it? Because with the PCO and Destro stuff like that, man, you're right up that alley. So I mean, I feel like that's right up your alley. So first off, did you watch it? Second of all, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've watched it, and it was one of the best matches they did, cinematic match, and played out good, everything. So I think I would go in a different way that they did, though. Like I wouldn't play it the same way. Like I would play it more like like I do in my videos, in my vignettes, and it would be something like totally out of the alley that you usually see. I would like really evolve, not evolve, but be different, and just trace another path that has never been seen on TV before. Just be different, very much different. I think. Yeah, you've seen like what we're doing. Like we got the style, the gore style a little bit, and we got like I think at some point it's important to have it. It really details the character, define the character, and
Taker couldn't have had a better opponent too.
With AJ?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He couldn't have had a better opponent for him to do that with.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, they couldn't, like, I was expecting Taker and AJ to have like a solid match in a ring, but when they put AJ in a cinematic and they didn't have a long match, and we didn't see like any athletic abilities from AJ. Usually, he was the perfect opponent to make Taker look great. Let's say for a real WrestleMania or something with crowd, that would have been an awesome match, I'm sure. But they couldn't utilize like AJ skills that much. So when for me, I said like the choke slam or something, and he was already at the down on the hill, down on the hole. And so you didn't see the actual move. It's like, okay, it happened. He's there, at the bottom of the hole. And it's just things like that they had to play with. But it was cool, the look and everything, the symmetry, and coming out into its old style of biker and things like that. So I think it was good.
Plus, I mean, it came out in that piece that they were doing on him, the last ride thing. They came out that Undertaker specifically.
It connected. Yeah.
And it helped connect it. That was one thing, I got to say, when that came out, my first thought was, well, damn, Taker's never really talked like that. And he just goes from no talking to just open the door. I'm like, all right, well, this is different. But when you hear that, I feel like it added an extra layer to it.
I think it was showing that he was since they were gonna show that huge documentary on him. So I think talking was making sense because he was gonna talk for 2-3 hours anyways. So, which he never done before. So.
Right.
I had actually seen him. He came on the Pat McAfee show. Actually, he was on there for like a 45-minute segment.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah, lately, and I've seen him left and right a little bit lately. But I mean, for a while, he was not like he was totally kayfabe for a while. Like he wouldn't do like podcasts or anything like that. So I think that's if he's on a certain show, that's pretty new to me.
I mean, like I said, I think it gives a different look, obviously, than what we're used to. Another thing I got to get your opinion on. So we were talking about it. You mentioned, Ring of Honor coming back to TV. Well, we've seen the debut of the Thunderdome. You've got the virtual experience with the fans being able to be in like that.
Have you seen some crazy stuff?
And do you think it's something that can be viable going forward, at least until we can know what's going on with the whole fan situation?
I think it's better than an empty arena, but I don't think it's. I personally, I don't really like it. To me, you're on the screen. I can't hear you. Everybody's on mute. It looks like there's people. It's like the cartoon, like people that you see for baseball. They have like a quarter of the stadium with people, and it's just like. Totally like cartoon, like cut off with painting on them. It's just weird. Never thought I would see that.
It's crazy too, because
every time I see like an NBA game or anything like that with the fans on in the background, I just feel
crazy
like I'm watching like like somebody playing on Xbox or something like that.
I think NHL are doing a good thing with the. That's how I would go instead. I would go like NHL style. I would go with the big giant screen, I would put a lot of giant, make the character look bigger than ever they did. Like you have the Titantron, but I would like have like many around the area. That would be basically 4 walls with like the guy, like, so I don't know, like maybe different size, but huge screen of different size on all sides of the ring. I don't know, like in a way where when the camera pans out, it looks larger than life. I think hockey, they're doing that and it works out pretty well. So, but we can't compare with a crowd. So that's just plan B.
Well,
that's plan B. That's how I would go.
You led right into a question I had for you. Obviously, you're called the French Canadian Frankenstein for a reason. We talked about hockey. What do you think about hockey right now? Who do you got? Have you been watching the playoffs at all? What do you think?
I was watching until Montreal got kicked out by the Flyers. I was watching it and I was pretty impressed with the way that the guys they were going. Oh, it was good caliber, good hockey. I thought it was going to be more boring than that. But you still have the effects that are good on hockey. Let's say a guy hit a slap shot and he hits the pin, a post or something. It's still like very, but you're missing the crowd, but it still brings a lot of a suspense and things like that because the rules, the offsides and things like that. So people can get excited on TV, even though they don't have the crowd in the background. But I think it's not the same. But I think hockey are doing a great job with this handicap.
Yeah, I think if anybody, hockey's definitely doing the best job. I mean, like at MLB games, they're using like cardboard cutouts and stuff.
Cardboard doesn't work to me.
Yeah, no, that looks bad. I agree with you. I think that
because you don't have the depth of the cardboard. It's just a slight piece.
But I completely agree with you. Like I think the best bet honestly would be put maybe like 100 a bunch of, maybe limit it to like 50 people or something like that, but do like 100-inch TV where the face of somebody is,
maybe different size of TVs, maybe kind of a mix up, like instead of having different fans, if they've had all those TVs and you'd see the match going on, like I think it would be cool too.
So that brings up a good question. And anybody that knows your career, and we talked about it in our past episodes, you competed in the inaugural Brawl for All. We've seen WWE has basically resurrected that with Raw Underground, just in a more trumped up version. So first of all, have you seen any of that? And if so, what do you think about it?
I've seen the new faction. What's their name again? Dressed up in black.
The Retribution.
Retribution. I've seen them a little bit. I can't watch a full show. I
dude, I can't either.
I go through. I just skip back and forth. I don't watch much TV usually, but I do sometimes, especially when I'm at Destro's house when we train, and I'm there. Then I watch some. But
have you seen any of that Raw Underground thing? And do you think it's a ripoff of the Brawl for All?
That's what I haven't watched it, but I've heard it's a ripoff of Brawl for All, though. I heard
they got like this door where you got to walk in. It's like Fight Club, and then they walk in and they got like they got the ring, but there's no ropes or nothing. And
I think that's a little bit the idea of the Josh Barnett
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Yeah, I think the idea might be coming from there. I'm not sure, but I think they've been doing that. They started with Matt Riddle, and then it's Josh Barnett, Bloodsport, and before the first year was the Matt Riddle.
Yep, and then Barnett had it. We had Lindsay Snow on for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing great with that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that stuff because he's even had guys like Phil Baroni has fought in that. Obviously, Josh Barnett's been in there. Corey, that's the one that I was trying to get you to watch because it's got a lot of, like, Phil Baroni's fought in there. A lot of guys from old style UFC have been in there as well. Yeah, so that's definitely a good one.
Dan Severn, I think.
Yep, Dan Severn as well. I believe Severn was in there too. So now as we're, starting to make our way out, like you said, more shows are starting to open up. You mentioned Brody wrestling over there in New Japan. Do you want to make your way over to New Japan now? Or are you able to with your Ring of Honor contract?
I was booked for I can't remember the name of that tournament just before
G1 Climax.
G1 Climax tag team. Me and Brody, we were booked there to be part of that tournament, the tag team tournament, just before Christmas. Yep. And Brody tore his ACL, one of his leg. I think the right. I'm not sure which one it was. So he tore the ACL, so he needed like 2.5, 3 months off with the stem cells and things like that. So, which is a quick recovery compared to before. An ACL was like 8 months, 6 to 8 months. Now 3 months. So I think, but it was just enough so that we missed the injury just happened before, like 10 days before we were supposed to leave for Japan. It was just before the final battle date. I was supposed to be there from December 10 or 13 to the November 20th to December 13th, something.
Right.
Supposed to be there in Japan. I was booked there. I had my flight tickets. I had like my passport for Japan. Like I was ready to go. And
do you
then
think
boom,
you'll go over there now that you're doing singles?
I never say never. I really don't know. I think it'd be a hell of a character for Japan. I think they would.
Dude, it would be awesome in Japan.
Yeah, because they're big fan of monsters and things like that.
Right.
So, Godzilla or whatever. And
could you imagine if somehow they brought you out on like Wrestle Kingdom or something like that, and you did an entrance like you did at Madison Square Garden in the fucking Tokyo Dome?
Yeah, it'd be fucking crazy. Yeah,
that would be insane.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that would be insane. So let me throw a couple of hypotheticals out at you. So Corey was asking me because he was looking into your character and things, and it spawned a couple questions for me. So obviously we know now that over there in AEW you had the Dark Order, and it ended up being Brody Lee as the leader over there.
Yeah.
Obviously I knew you were signed with Ring of Honor, but dude, PCO would be an interesting pick with the Dark Order as well, man. I've been seeing in hypotheticals and stuff like that, man. What do you think with all these cinematic matches? Do you think that it's kind of opening up the door for there to be more room for more character stuff again?
I think people like his characters. I mean,
I agree.
When it's not forced, when it's not something that doesn't suit someone, when it seems natural as a character, yeah. When it seems like it's really part of the guy, it really, stick on him, and you could really tell, okay, he's not playing something that's him. I think it works out. Like I think the crowd likes that, and I think it's but for certain guys, because like Corey said, the business has changed to what it was when you had huge characters like the Road Warriors, or all of that era where everybody had a character, like the
like
police,
the Freebirds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of them, we just interviewed Miranda Gordy last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she came on. You were talking about shows running. They contacted us we got in touch with the people from Texas. They just did the Independent Wrestling Expo down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had her and Sam Adonis came on last week for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but they're starting to run that, but they're big characters.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be a percentage of a wrestling company, but I think there's a lot of room for that if it's working, if it's getting over. I think it's going to be cool. I think we're going to see a little bit more.
So in Canada, my question is, how much are we seeing? Have you seen much as far as wrestling shows in Canada yet?
Yeah, it was just got opened up today. It was you can wrestle someone else. It was banned. Wrestling, boxing, everything just got reopened today. So, and I think the crowd's gonna be 250 max for any crowd right now in Quebec. So, which is a Montreal area, and there's tons of wrestling companies there. So they were all starving, and they were all ready to go. So we'll see how it goes with that.
How much of a lockdown did you guys go on in Canada? Because I know here in Michigan we were locked down. I would say, what would you say, Corey? Maybe like a month or two to where it was like real strict, and now like little bit by little bit they're starting to kind of like release stuff one by one.
I would say it was further than that. I would say we were closer to probably like 2.5 months where it got real. I mean, I know when I got my temporary layoff and stuff from work, I mean, we didn't end up getting the call back. That was like a 2-month turnaround.
Yeah, I think March, April, and May. Yeah, and June. Yeah, well, probably 3 months at least. It's been 6 months now, almost.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, it
So
started in about March,
yeah,
April.
yeah. I think the first 2 months were pretty straight, like business closed and things like that. Like the bars were closed and the restaurant was just the takeout and delivery, and there's a lot of business that got hurt that are closing doors and things like that. So it's a mess for the economy, I think, but for a lot of people. But yeah, now they're for the last 2 3 months they've been like releasing like different like bars were the last one. Boxing and wrestling has been the last one, and the school just reopened like last week, and it's a big. It's hard for them to keep the the students under control. They don't have the social distancing. They don't wear the mask. They don't. I mean, they don't care basically. So what you see on the news is pretty. It's like they're losing the control. But they say they're gonna send some agents to the school now, like government agents, to just to watch out and make sure. It's
You're gonna get
You better put your damn mask on, kid.
you're gonna
this is
federal charges because you didn't have your mask on.
it's a big show in itself, like the plexiglass all over the place and everybody with a mask. We never expected that, so it's weird to see the world going around like this. But I think by January we should be okay. We should be all right to go, I would say. Hopefully they'll come out with, if not a vaccine, maybe a treatment that's going to lower the chances or something. I don't know how it's going to work out or what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure like everybody wants to restart for January for sure, full time, hopefully.
I'm sure hoping so myself. I know everybody I can imagine is ready to get this year behind us and kind of just start on a new leaf.
Yeah, clean slate. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, well, I'm hoping like we can get a good end of the year 2020 and 2021. Hopefully it's gonna start like strong, like I'm expecting after Christmas. I'm expecting like the people to be ready for see some some entertainment and movies and wrestling and all kinds of stuff that they haven't done in a while. And I don't know what's the plan like for the big production in Hollywood. Would you release a movie when you can only have like half a, if you launch like let's say a big blockbuster and you have only a quarter of your room for watching a film or something? I don't think you would launch like Fast and Furious 10 with this pandemic.
I know with my kids, like they did it with kids movies, like the Trolls movies and stuff like that. They did those releases during quarantine, but I think that's a different scenario.
That's a small budget like production. Most of the those comedy.
Yeah, man.
Once they spend 100 millions on a movie, I don't think they want like half of the room or a quarter of the room. I think they want everybody to be, they want to sell out.
Well, then on top of that, what are they going to do when they run out of content? Because I can't imagine. I mean, are they going to start releasing stuff from 5 years ago that just never got the green light? Is that what's going to end up being new normal? Essentially, is older content.
And what it creates too, you have to. Maybe you never thought about it. I don't know if it's like that in Michigan, but in Montreal, the downtown is dead because everybody's like doing teletravel, they're working on their phone or on their computer from home. So nobody goes to downtown anymore in the where you've got all the skyscrapers and all that. That's empty. So every business
Not
downtown,
in Detroit.
well, nobody goes across the bridge there anymore. So I went and no traffic. everything is like dead. So if you're working in an office that costs, I don't know how much for your boss or something, and then you're only working 2 days out of 5 or 3 out of 5, would your boss keep on renting those offices for their employees? Or are they going to go, okay, now everybody works from home? Because I don't know what they're expecting for the future. So I think they want to be more green for, the ecology, like, so like, because it did, like, I think it was good for the planet in a way, because it gives the planet a rest, because the
That's a good
pollution,
point.
Absolutely.
and all that. So now I think it's going to be a little change. I think we're shifting a little bit, going another direction.
So another thing that we've seen, one other thing I wanted to get your thoughts on. So another thing that we've seen rise up during the pandemic is old friend of yours, Mr. Joey Janela has been doing his thing over there with GCW with their shows. They've been doing their thing on Fight TV and things like that. Like,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on these shows that we've been seeing? Obviously, it's like a different look, but I mean, they're still getting people watching it. I mean, could we see PCO on another GCW card?
I told you, like, a lot of people have been calling me lately for different shows. So who knows, but one thing, Ring of Honor has been like more than like fair with their entire roster. We had been like getting paid the full pay during the whole crisis. So I don't know, unless they would say, yeah, we want our guys not to lose their edge and things like that, and they would allow us without any feeling like any
Right.
that we haven't, like, that we're so loyal to the company, because we're under a contract anyway. So it's something that it's a very sensitive point, but maybe they would want the guys to be busy a little bit. But another way, maybe they're feeling like they're doing the bubbles, and we're so much on their on the health issues and things like that.
They don't want to
everybody
take
got tested once the show was done. Like, it was like a minimal roster. It was just the 16 guys. They were all in the near area by, so not too many guys were flying in and out of Baltimore. A lot of drive-ins, and everybody got tested when they went back after their quarantine, or during their quarantine when they went back home. So I don't know if they would want us to be.
I get it. I get what you're trying to say.
So cowboy and going for, like, let's say GCW, and maybe not taking care enough of ourselves when they've been taking care of us. Like,
totally makes sense. I get it. I just wondered what your thoughts were, because I knew you had your ties with Joey and all those.
Yeah, I'm tight with Joey. It's a good friend of mine. I mean, I think he's awesome, man. I mean, he works hard. He's unbelievable for the business. And I would love, to be part of GCW at times. But my main concern,
your main deal is Ring of Honor, as it should be.
Yeah, because it's a first-class company. I mean, and if they don't run, it's because they don't want to take risk. Because that you don't know that too, but we were going to be live, on and going live starting in June, and that kind of put all things on the side track, So, but I think we are, like, as a company, going to, because I don't feel like, because I'm not in the process, I'm not in the office, so I don't know. I'd say we are preparing for next year for sure. We are preparing for next show, but I think next year is going to be the big time. It's time to regroup right now. It's time to evolve like on different platform, on their social media platform, on their YouTube channels and this and that, and get all areas of the business ready. So when everything starts with a big,
they can be ready to
kick, ready to go, and
well, like you said, I think it's a good restart for wrestling as a whole, right? Like, I mean, if you think about it, even the main companies, even though AEW and WWE are still running, with the gradual start to fans coming back, I mean, you got to imagine all the major companies are trying to make an impact. I mean, hell, look at what Impact did. They went and signed all those guys that left from WWE to try to make a thing there. I mean, I think it's a perfect opportunity for Ring of Honor, to kind of insert themselves right back in.
Yeah, we haven't been part of the race of the independent, like guys that became independent. That was just say moved on for main rosters and things like that for WWE or AEW, but and we haven't been like competing with other companies like to get certain guys. Because I think we Ring of Honor, we kind of had everything set up for 2020, 2021. So had put a lot of money on different guys and different ready to go live on TV, and that got postponed. So we'll see how it goes. But I get it. Why compete when it's not time to compete? Everybody will be available still next year. It's not like
I just mean it gives them an opportunity, like you said, to get themselves ready, and then when fans are able to come back, it's a good way for Ring of Honor to just reinsert their name, right up there with an Impact in AEW. I just think it's a good chance at a reset. And as we kind of wind down here, first of all, I didn't get to tell you this after our last interview. Shout out on the Chris Van Vliet interview. He was a guest on our show as well. He was a guest on our show literally like I think a week before you did before you guys did your interview. So it was cool, man. Like I said, it's been cool to have you on shows like this and shows like his where people are starting to kind of get to see, a little bit behind the character a little bit. Yeah. So it was definitely a cool look. So like I said, as we go into, as we go back in and Ring of Honor goes back to TV, I'm going to give you the floor here, man. If you've got any last words for your opponents or any of the guys in Ring of Honor or for the fans, let them know where they can find you.
Well, PCO, the French Canadian Frankenstein, and you can find me on the social medias, on YouTube at Pierre Ouellet PCO, or at PCO is not human on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm mostly on Twitter and Facebook.
Hey man, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your time as always, man. It's good to finally get to link up with you. I know we've tried to set this up like 2 or 3 times, whether it be in Dearborn for Ring of Honor.
Well, pandemic is good for this.
Right,
we didn't have a problem.
Like we're all sitting at the crib chilling, and now I get to return the favor. You sent us these great shirts, which you can get at Pro Wrestling Tees, and look there, the first ever Knockouts and 3 Count shirt is coming at you. And the French Canadian Frankenstein might just have him one on the way. But we appreciate your time, man. And if any of you guys aren't checking them out, if you're like me and aren't able to see them on your regular TV networks, man, you can always check out Ring of Honor on the Fight TV app. Like I said, you're gonna miss great action if you're not watching Ring of Honor. Check out PCO. Check out past guests of the show, Shane Taylor. You've got Jay Lethal. You've got all the great stars of Ring of Honor. Like I said, you need to be checking them out. And in the in-between team, until next time, thank you for your time and peace.